Another week, another week of pure enjoyment, pure intensity, pure work. What worked? What didn't? What flopped? What is it that you learned? And what's on tap for next week?
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Wow, did I ever screw that one up?
No.
We're sitting there talking about Mark's background and all that, and then all of a sudden there was a tap, and it got me all thrown off, boys. And I apologize. That was a horrible intro, but
You got lost.
yeah, I know. It's wins and losses Friday. What worked? What didn't? What flopped? What'd you learn? And really, how are you going to take that and move forward? And that's what today's episode is all. End the week off on a really high note. We got our main man, Mark Ridley, back from Green Shoots FX. Mark's going to be back every 2 weeks with us for Fridays because he just loves hanging out with the boys. And we're golden. We're good to go. So who wants to start with wins and losses today?
Okay.
DJ,
Mark,
go on, mate.
No, Mark,
you
go
have
ahead.
it. You
I'd
sure?
actually like to finish if that's okay.
Okay. There's a hidden joke in there somewhere.
There
The wins and losses. This week's been a good week. I think the wins for us were sending out a bunch of account opening docs, which is always a win, right? Anyway, but I think more so because these were to prospects that we've been keeping warm over the last year to 18 months. So I think that really then demonstrates the true value of maintaining relationships, keeping things ticking over, but do it like certainly me, like we or like the company in general, like we do it in a genuine way. We don't do it because we want to get the prize at the end of the day. I mean, obviously that's what pays the school fees, but like we do it because that's just who we are as humans, and that's why we do what we do, right? Otherwise, there's no point in actually. Yeah, look, I don't eat from 1 week to the next, but I have to send my son to a decent school. Right? I mean, I'll sacrifice absolutely everything. I'll wear the same pair of underwear for 12 years if I have to, if I can't afford to buy a pair, but I send my son to a decent school.
Mark, we actually talked about that yesterday.
That's a good
thing.
We talked about one of the big things that came up was, what if we treated all of our customers the way we treat our children? Because we actually said, as parents, we'd starve to let our kids eat.
Yeah.
And really, I love that you said DJ, eh? Like not even talking, like just totally
crazy, right?
You framed it in a different way with, you would literally wear the same pair of underwear for 12 years.
I like
that would be like Larry the Cable Guy. Looked like you're mud wrestling.
Just don't sit too close to Mark.
Yeah. All that might be left is the elastic band, but that's about it.
Oh gosh,
it's adult.
That's it. Yeah, it becomes a thong very, very quickly.
Now we're going somewhere dark.
Yeah, that's a good win, brother. I think the one word for you is consistency. DJ and I were just talking about this off the air, and we were talking about the space, how many people come into different spaces and even niches in our industry, all of that stuff. And it's like the consistency is not there, so they feel like they lose, and it's consistency. Like whatever we decide to do, we literally have to be consistent with it for a good 6 months to a year, almost before anything will happen. And if you look at our space, DJ and I are having some conversations with fairly heavy individuals, both in personal and professional development in the business world. And, Mark, one of their first comments to me is, have you done 100 episodes? And I say, yeah. Right. And I said, okay, we'll talk. That is literally the first thing they ask. And they say, why? It's because too many people come into this space, think they're going to change the world. They do 10 episodes or 5 episodes, and then they drop out. And he goes, and I'm not interested in using my time until you've shown me you're consistent. And it's funny because when you think of that, what do prospects want?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're not calling your prospects consistently, you just talked about 18 months of calling, and now you're getting the onboarding documents out. They know when they do business with you now that you're there. And part of me, I mean, listen, I've lived it. Where it's, you do prospecting for 2-3 weeks, and then something happens, you get caught in operations, you stop prospecting, Have you ever done that? Where all of a sudden it's like 3 months later, you're like,
yeah.
dude, I got to trash every single lead in my system.
What
because
did I just do? Yeah, I just burned it up.
I just totally ruined like 19 opportunities. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh my God. But yeah, Mark, consistency. I love that.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, 100%. So like, you're saying consistency, and I like that actually. Tenacity was where I was gonna go down. I was gonna go down that road. And
Mark,
yeah,
Ryan's setting up a GoFundMe for you, by the way. I don't know if you see that.
Yeah, for underwear.
For your underwear.
Good morning from the UK, Nigel.
I'm
Good
sorry,
morning, Nigel.
Lisa, absolutely. Yes. Consistency
Lisa.
is king. Consistency is what it's all about. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on there, Mark.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But the reason why I say like I like tenacity better, because then but consistency is that's key. That's definitely important. Maybe you might have to change the way that you do things, because obviously you don't want to be banging your head against the same brick wall over and over again. Expecting something to change if you're not going to change something yourself, right? So there's that element to it,
right?
Exactly that. Yeah, doing the same thing over and over and again, right, and expecting it to change. So, but we also want to be mindful of the fact that we don't want to be a nuisance, because the people that we're connecting with, they're either CFOs in many cases, they're business owners. They've got a job to do. They've got their school fees to pay. So what they don't want to do is be like having to waste time like answering my emails and my phone calls, etc., etc. So we'll always sort of tap them on the shoulder during what we think is the right time, at the right pace, the right speed, and try and make it a little bit jovial without being like crossing the line of being incredibly unprofessional. So I think that kind of wins. But to your point, Dan, you're absolutely right. This is a demonstration for what is now the client, moving from prospect to client, of what they can expect. And it's always easy, like talk is cheap, and I've said that for forever and a day, right? You can sit in front of anybody and say we're the best, and like no self-respecting salesperson or server in a restaurant is going to sit in front of you and say, you know what, our customer service is actually pretty shit. Or the server's going to say, how many times have you actually genuinely said, like, oh, I'm going to have the fish, and they're like, oh, that's the best. How many times have they turned around and said, oh, that fell on the floor 2 hours ago, I wouldn't eat that.
I wouldn't eat that.
Exactly. Like, you're not going to get that, right? So talk is cheap. So it's the actions that really do speak louder than words, as they say, right? So it's cliche, but it's very, very true.
Agree.
Well, in terms of so loud, I can't hear a word you say.
There you go. That's exactly it. Drown out everything else that's going on around them. And we're all here. You, me, hopefully everybody that's listening and watching later on. We're doing what we do because we want to remove some of the noise and the problems that clients not so much clients, but prospects specifically, right? That they have and they face on a day-to-day basis. Right? We want to try and make sure that their lives are super, super easy. Take out some ambiguity, take out some of those pain points. That's why we're here. And that's, if we can, we do that in some ways where we might provide the advice and guidance, and then the prospect might continue to use their bank. For example, we'll tell them like maybe where they're going wrong, or, advise on some best practices, and then, or maybe even highlight that the price of the currency exchange is pretty crappy with their current provider, and then they'll go back to their provider and they'll beat them up and they'll get what they want. And I have to look at that as being, all right, that's not one that pays the school fees, so that's not a financial victory, but that's a moral victory, right? And we started the business because we want to drive down price in the industry, and it will happen. There are plenty of fintechs and disruptors like us that are coming to the market, not just in the US but globally, that are putting pressure on the incumbents, which is exactly what we set out to do. So that's mission complete. So, but that's mostly wins for me this week. Really, I'm not going to say.
Well, Nigel said I found that if you're relevant, interesting, and timely, nobody minds being interrupted. Just pick up the phone. And it's funny too, because Lisa's also said proof is in the pudding, and 100%. I've always believed if you have a service, a product, a tool that's going to help your customers achieve their goals, it's your mandate to get them to listen somehow. Somehow, just, I don't know, like with DJ and I've talked about, doing jokes, doing, like you said, kind of on that, you said, Mark, on that border of being unprofessional. you know, but something to hear them, because if they truly need your product, service, or, you know, whatever it is, tool, whatever, to help them achieve their goals, I think
Yeah.
as a salesperson, it's your absolute mandate to get it in front of them and to a point where they listen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really big on like the begging or the, you know, but I am big on the, hey, listen, like this is the next level. If you're truly interested, like if you as an individual or corporation are truly interested in reaching your goal, this is how I believe I can help you get there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
those are big wins, brother. Those are big wins.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Actually, you've just reminded me, not to monopolize the conversation. You just like there's certainly been times where we know that we can provide that level of service. We know enough about the business, and we know enough about their problems, and we know enough about their peer group and competitors where we might have solved for those, you know, for their issues. So we know that we can provide value. But the person that you're facing off against is just a little bit, say, more hostile than you would like. And I'll often give them a bit of a leeway there, and I'll give them a benefit of a doubt that maybe there's a bad period in their life or whatever. So we'll keep pressing on. But if it gets to the point where these individuals become somewhat rather rude, I kind of feel like, you know what, that's a relationship I don't want to cultivate. I don't want your revenue
100%.
at all. Like, I'm not desperate for it. I want to help you. Like, okay, look, I'm not a charity, and we said this 2 weeks ago, right? We're not for profits, but like, you know, I feel like I don't know as you deserve to be helped, my friend. You keep going on doing what you're doing and have
You
at
know,
it. But you know,
Mark, I've often said, and some people think I'm crazy for it, but I'm a big 8 mile it and just stand right out in front. If the train hits me, oh well, because I'm not really going to be doing business. I often stop and I say, "Did I catch you at a bad time?" Well, you know, I said, "Okay, here's where I come from. So please, with all due respect, just understand my position. Do you have salespeople in your company? Do your salespeople in your company help drive revenue for your company? Does your product or service solve something for your customers? Yes, they do. Okay, that's why I'm calling you. So I apologize if I've caught you at an inopportune time, but I know I can help solve something. And I've had countless prospects go, you know what, I'm sorry, it's just a bad day. No problem, because and call me an asshole, call me whatever you want, but I bring value to the table. And because of that, don't treat me like I'm subhuman. I'm not treating you like you're subhuman. We're all on the same level. I don't care if you're CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. In the life of humans, we're all on the same level. You're no better than I am, and I'm no better than you are. And so I hit the nail right on the head, because I'm not interested. And you know what? If it's at least inside of me, I felt like, okay, I took last stand, and maybe it didn't work. Maybe I still got blown out of the water, or, you know, I dropped into the pit, like, you know, but at least I took a stand. And for me, that's always worked. And majority of the time it's this, you know what, I'm sorry, Dan, you know, I'm in the middle of something, you know, half of them don't tell you, but like, my boss is a friggin' idiot. They're making me do something so stupid right now. It's wasting my time. He just happened to call right in the middle of it. You know, my kid got caught selling drugs last night. Like, I don't know what's going on in their world, but it's true, right? Nigel says, walk away, qualify out. Yes, sir. And move on. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So those are great wins, brother. Those are great wins.
Dan,
thank you, sir.
You're going to share
All
us
right. So I'm going to start with my losses. And here's my losses.
Uh-oh.
And there's the win. So I'm up north snowmobiling with my son for this week. And I can tell you my goal this week was to become a better rider. My goal this week was to try things that I would never normally do in terrain that we don't typically have at my house. I'm starting to really get into what's called backcountry riding, which is like through trees and woods and stuff. Hence the reason I hit those trees and the rock, which comes with failing more than you win. And the one big thing I can say today is every single time I fell off that snowmobile, I've gone over the handlebars now. I think we only recorded 4 or 5 of them, but probably 10 or 12 times right now. I mean, I see something and I'm like, all right, let's try it. And I try it, and sometimes it's a victory, and I'm like, sweet, now I'm up on top of this pretty steep hill, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to get down? I got up, but how am I going to get down? And you know, the one thing that's become real clear this week, and it's a metaphor for fun and life and business, is we have to fail to get better. Because if it were easy, everyone would do it. And you know, and I think my second win for the week is there's always another way. And let me explain to you why. So this is the original modular helmet. This is my snowmobile helmet. Okay. It's carbon fiber. It's light. Like, I mean, I've lost the vent back here from one of my falls. And I literally because they don't sell the vents anymore. This helmet's probably 17 years old. And I know a lot of you say 17 years old helmets don't last that long. But this is my most favorite helmet on the planet. It does not fall. Now, the one problem is it's got a clear visor and a dark visor. And the problem with that is on a day like today where it's gray clouds, like gray sky, the snow and the undulation and kind of the dimension of the snow, I lose completely. So I've literally hit like 3-foot jumps or dips in the trail that I didn't even see. So you can imagine if you're standing and all of a sudden your sled jumps 3 feet, like it jars your wrists, your arms, your shoulders. So we were at a gas station, and here's the one thing that I can say to everyone. I talk to everyone. Like, I have conversations with people behind counters at gas stations and everything. And I walked into the gas station. My son and I were filling up. Yeah, I know, right? And we're filling up. And the woman says, how is it out there? I said, you know, it's great. I said, and normally the people would say, it's great, thank you. And they'd stop there. I said, but, you know, I said, the snow definition, I said, you know, it's gray out. I can't, you know, it's snowing a little bit. I've lost track of it. And because of that conversation, she said, you got to try these glasses that we have. I said, Jeff, what do you mean glasses? She said, we got yellow glasses, like night vision glasses. I'm like, really? Because the one thing my helmet's missing is the yellow visor where like, I don't know if any of you have ever worn those yellow, like night vision, where it's like, it creates a whole new dimension.
Yeah,
and she's
really
like, you got to try it. And I said, well, what are they? And she says, oh, they're just normal glasses. They're like $4. I said, $4? She goes, yeah. So these are the glasses. So what happens is I put these glasses on, then I put my helmet on, and it completely changes my view. So instead of spending $600 on a new helmet, I spent $4 and I created a new look. That was awesome. So what I did yesterday is I went back, I bought every single pair they had because I lost my first pair. And I'm like, for $4, I spent $20 and I probably got 3 years, another 3 years where I don't have to spend 600. So have the conversations. As much as you might think, oh, this is irrelevant, or it's not gonna move my life forward, or it's not gonna move my business forward. Invest in maybe another couple of minutes in a conversation, because you never know what's gonna come out of it. You know, I invested 20 seconds in a conversation. I get to keep my favorite helmet on the planet, and I get to see everything. And not to mention, I bring one pair with me and one pair goes in my backpack. If these frost or break, I have another pair. And, you know, for me, those were obviously a lot of losses, which created the wins in the end. And then a lot of wins. That's what I got this week, boys.
I love it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And again, not to jump straight in and not to talk over you, DJ. I think
no, go ahead.
So losses, like in the main, I'm not talking about all the time, but losses for me in the main are pseudo wins, right? Because if you can learn something from it, then that's always a good thing, right? And it's always I find more often than not an interesting thing as well. So if you can end the week, even if you've lost something, but walk away thinking, all right, I knew something more this week than I knew last week, then that's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, Jeff says it right. He says, as an owner of horses, if you fall off, you've got to climb back on the saddle. Yep. Do it again and again. Daughter's a 9-time barrel racing qualifier. Nice, buddy.
That is awesome.
She was able to do this because she failed miserably. Yeah, 100%. Same in logistics. And now, unfortunately, it cuts half it off. If you fail on a call, move to the next one and the next, move forward. 100%. 100%. And I think, You know, do you guys not think that this is where a lot of people get paralyzed? Is the fail part of it? Is it's like, oh man, I mean, I remember there were times when I would like a month in a row, no customers, nobody seemed to want to talk to me. And you stop and you question yourself. And I'm talking after I had huge victories, like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in GP. And I'm like, do I suck? Like literally second guessing yourself, right? And then I try and put myself back in the shoes of when I first started in the industry. Absolutely. Nigel says it. I win or learn. I often say that, Nigel. I either win or I move forward, and I educate myself.
Turn your
I love
losses
that.
to lessons.
Well, because here's the thing, you know, even as a logistics sales rep, you call up and you say, hey, you know, like want to talk to you about your, you know what, we're totally set up. Well, what does that mean? Well, we love our carriers and we're totally set up. Really? My next question is, you know, if you don't mind, I'd really love to know what to do so well that you're not even interested in hearing what I have to say. Because you know what, Mr. Prospect, if I can adopt 1% of that, I could help my customers achieve more. Would you please share? And you know what? Most of the time they do. They say, I love this, and this about them. And that's why I stay with them. And it's like, okay, now you get 5 or 6 of those, even 10 of those in a week, where they say, here's everything that I love about myself. Then you go back and you look at your business. You say, are we doing this? No, we're not. Well, hey, those are your gold nuggets. You either win or you learn. That's it. And winning means, yeah, we're good for a next call, or learning means, hey, they do this so well, I'm not even interested in talking to anyone. Because imagine if you, and here's the nexus of it, right? Is as a logistics sales rep and as somebody that's making sales calls consistently, you can glean so much information and so many chunks of gold that you can literally build a castle of gold. Literally, because you know, one person in Georgia might say, this is what my supplier does for me. One person in California will have different problems with different, and you as the logistics professional can put all of them together and have like this impenetrable force field for your customers to help them, like we said yesterday with Daman, right? Help them achieve their goals, the people before profit. Like you have a gold mine of information at the tip of your fingertips just from connecting with people.
Just gotta ask the questions.
Mm-hmm. Lisa says, daughter is learning to walk. As you told me, Dan, follow her lead. When she falls down, she gets right back up. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, Lisa. Yeah, that's exactly. If a kid learning, I mean, that's one thing we don't know. We're gonna fail with everything we're learning. We're gonna fail until we get better. But the only way is to keep trying as we fail. And that's, kids teach us that from walking. I mean, if a kid was like, you know, I'm not going to do it this time. Like, I seen that person fall. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to hold this out a little bit. Maybe eventually I'm going to stand up and just walk. No, they just get up and do it again. And we as parents, we get up and we keep putting them up. And we're lifting them up. But
you know, and that's the thing, DJ. You brought up a good point. You're lifting them up. Exactly. You know, make sure all of you surround yourself with people that lift you up.
Bingo.
And if you don't, reach out to us. We'll lift you up.
Yes.
You know, like
please.
Man. Just it's because,
dude,
you know.
I've just gone all goosey, like all my not my DJ Flores beard, because I've got like a 5-year-old. I've got a 5-year-old beard. I've seen DJ was clean shaven when he got on this show 25 minutes ago. He's grown that in the last, quarter of an hour. But like what you've just said there, just like really. So there's been so many like LinkedIn posts that I've seen over the years where people are they're being bullied at work. They just fucking hate life. They don't want to get out of bed in the morning. And when I see these, like I just gravitate towards them, and you just try and do the same thing. Try and pick them up. And I'll always sign off with, look, man, like if you're having a shit day, just ping me a message. Like, I don't give a shit. I've never met you. For all I know, you could be a bank robber. You could be a horrible father. I don't know, but like, we'll figure that out. But like, just pick up the phone. Like if you have got no reason to get out of bed in the morning, or you feel like you've got no reason to get out of bed in the morning, that is a shit day for you. So pick up the phone. Let's just see what we can do, So that just made me get like really that means a lot to me, mate. Like that really does.
And Dan, I'm so glad you caught that, because it did just by accident kind of lead into my win. I mean, my huge win this week, for anybody who didn't see it, I'm putting my wife on blast. She shared something on LinkedIn as soon as I seen it. It was so funny because I wanted to talk about my wife in this week and just the victory and just how far we've come, really. But today we have a meeting. Today I have a meeting at 3:00 that probably is going to change our life. So just a lot of things. And so we went through a lot of things, and just where we're at, and it's just amazing. So and it goes with that lifting you up. I mean, having somebody, when you can find, you need to find people. You need to find not just your significant other, your partner, your wife, your family, your friends. Your whole circle has to be there to lift you up. Especially in the hard
Okay, so
times.
everybody
We
watching and
don't need
listening,
people
this
there
is
when
what
it's
I'd like
good.
everyone watching and listening, this is what I'd like your day to be. Send your best vibrations, your positive thoughts, and your victories to DJ and Maggie and their family and their meeting at 3:00. Because you know what? Here's one thing I do know. The more minds that focus on the victory, the more minds that focus on the possibility, the more likely it's going to happen. So you know what? You're going to be in my wishes all day. I'm going to stop and talk to the universe all day about getting you that 3:00 victory to change the life. Because you know what, DJ? You're here to help, and you deserve it. And everyone watching and listening, 100%, this is what I please beg of you for your day. Keep DJ Maggie and their family in your thoughts, and send them awesome vibrations. As Rico said, it's just two choices, and it's a choice vibration, man. So you know what? You are going to completely hammer this meeting at 3:00. It's a victory. It's going to happen. You've got a whole world of people beside you lifting you up, and we can't wait to hear the result.
Thank you.
100%. Yeah.
So that is our victory.
And everybody's saying it too. DJ, vibe is contagious.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Mine too, DJ. Get her done, DJ. There you go. You got a whole community here manifesting that shit. Whoa, Maggie, look at that. Whoa. Now she just swore on a logistics show. Is that right?
Yes.
She's feeling it. Listen, Lisa's even asking what time zone you're in. So Lisa, he's Eastern Standard Time. So noon your time, Lisa. You make sure you and Chad sit down and just think of DJ and the results. And Maggie, look at you. You're coming out of your shell, girl.
Right. See, Dan knows. No, yeah. And that's really what it's about. I mean, it really is. The people around you, we now more than ever, now in the landscape of the world that we're living in, we need that more. You guys, like anybody who's not aligning with you, you gotta remove them quickly. Not just customers, not just clients, but
there's it's interesting. Yeah. My wife's director of the clinic she's at said to her a couple of months ago, in an email addressing all staff. And she says, we're noticing more and more people that have to learn how to create relationships again after COVID. And, we're seeing it more and more. I mean, listen, like, full transparency, there's a huge mental health crisis going on in the world. There has been for a long time. I think COVID has created more of it. COVID has increased domestic violence. COVID has done a lot of shit. It's also, and here's the good and bad, right? It's obviously very bad. Mental health, horrible, because it puts people in states that I could never even imagine being in. I'm not a mental health therapist.
Well, and the thing it does, I mean, with covering your face, I mean, it's proven we as humans, we need.
Yeah, but I mean, even more than that, like the depression rates, what I mean? But here's the thing. It's also, and this is the polar opposites of everything that happens in our life. Like you look at small business destruction, like totally devastated,
destroying
95% of small businesses, devastated the economy for years, devastated. Like you think our children's children are still going to be paying all this shit back, right? Like inflation is skyrocketing. But you know what? It's made me closer with my family. It's developed a bond between my wife. Like there's always good and
Find
bad.
the
And in
wins.
everything we do, there's always positive and negative.
Yes.
Like
There's always
COVID has
silver
brought
lining.
people together. And for you guys, answer me this, riddle me this. Has it not taught you the value of work-life balance and how to, you know, I know for a fact, I mean, you look at Mark 2 weeks ago when he said, you know, my win for the week is I got 30 minutes with my son, that you probably wouldn't have had if COVID didn't happen. Because maybe you'd be in an office, maybe you'd be, you know what I mean? There might, we don't know, but it's created these dynamic times for us that if we capitalize on them and see them and be present to them and open our minds to the possibility of them being there, we will find it. It's like anything. You go to buy a white car, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing the white car that you want to buy all over the place because you're open-minded to it. So if we stay open-minded to all of these wonderful possibilities, we can truly change the dynamics of our life. So, and again, because everything bad has a good, everything good has a bad or a learning experience. Bang.
I love it.
100%. Look at that.
Where's Jeff's boom? Jeff should have had a boom on that one. I'm sorry.
I know. And it literally
boom moment right there, brother.
That was a boom, and I'll give you a boom. That was a definite boom.
Lisa says will do. So you're going to have all these people praying for you.
Well, thank you guys, everybody, seriously. And thank you, Mark.
And we have to go back to this one because this one is just awesome. Manifest that shit. Yeah. What's the quote to lead us out of here today?
The quote to take us out today is a good one, and it's so crazy. Again, Dan, me and you were.
There we go.
There's our boom. My sales Yoda. There it is, the boom. Sales Yoda. Yeah, thank you. Mark, thanks for joining us. Follow, like, subscribe on our Sales Chatter Live channel on YouTube. You can also find our links for me and Dan for our mic drop, our LinkedIn's on the YouTube as well. And we're live. Like Dan said, listen, hey guys, if you need somebody to lift you up, reach out to any of us. Mark, Dan, me, Lisa, I'm sure is there. Everybody who's following this, look, we're all on the same mission together. And this quote should hopefully do that. But Jeffrey Fry, listen, with COVID, with everything, just remember this: the forces of freedom and choice will always triumphant against the forces of conformity and control. Be positive, guys. Be happy.
Absolutely.
Love
to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.